Welcome back to JMC Live. That last clip we played was quite interesting with the census and how things are getting way out of control. And then you have Israel, who is pretty much being told they're wrong. And, you know, what do you do when you're in a situation? And can you point out what verse is, Miranda?
Well, the verse, somebody had posted, and I looked into the verse in Revelations. And the verse is actually chapter 16, verse 3. But you got to read before.
Well, let me explain to the viewers why we're reading this, because I just wanted to know where that verse was. Because I actually forgot. We have this oil spill going on, and it's out of control, and now the government today, breaking news as of today, is being investigated for criminal activity. There's rumors that they're not doing enough, or there's even the possibility that it was a terrorist attack. It's so shady. Nobody seems to really know what's really going on. But a lot of people, when they think about the Word of God, they think about the Old Testament where the water was turned into like wine, or you know, and they think that they get the story mixed up of Jesus turning water into wine and the Old Testament turning water into blood. And when they read Revelation, they forget and they start thinking, well, is it supposed to be wine? Is it supposed to be blood? And picture this: it's over 10 miles wide.
It's 150 miles.
It's 150 miles wide, and it goes, you know, depths in the ocean.
They said it's like the size of They said it's like the size of Maryland.
So now it's the size of a state in the United States, and this is going to be moved towards some coast eventually. Either it's going.
It's already at the coasts.
Yeah, it's already at the coast, but the main core eventually will be moved, either by August or by a hurricane or something else. So, with no further ado, what we're going to do is we're going into Revelation. I'm letting Miranda read this because she remembers where it was at. And I know she's off camera, but just listen to her closely. And then when she finishes reading the verse, I'll explain what a part of the verse means when they're talking about blood.
Yeah. Now, I saw somebody had posted this on Facebook, this verse. And so I remembered it. And I read it and I said, oh, that really sounds like what could be going on right now. But the thing is, you got to read the other two verses before that, verses 1 and 2 in chapter 16.
And this is what? Chapter 16?
Verse 3, that we're going to be reading.
3 through what?
Just 3.
Okay.
And it says, and the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. Now, after that person posted this, they said that's like the oil. Because when the blood of a dead man is black, and it really becomes very thick and very nasty, could be, maybe they thought it was, the oil looked like the blood of a dead man.
Because, when my mother was dying, and this is true, if you bleed, even on your arm or whatever, and I'm looking at a scab of my arm, the blood, the iron, and the oxygen combination, and when your blood is normally a blue, because you look at your veins, they got a blue reddish tint, but the darker the red gets with the more oxygen that blood touches. So when blood is not being controlled by free flowing, and it doesn't have its antibodies and white blood cells and everything else flowing through it to keep it alive, you take the regular flowing oxygen and all those things, it starts to decay. So it starts to get, coagulated. It starts to get kind of thicker. And then, its activities and things inside changes. And it does turn black. If you put oil into water, it does the same thing in a glass. So, this part in Revelation 16:3 of the sea will turn into the blood of a dead man.
And all living soul in the sea die.
And the souls in the sea will die. Well, what's going on? There's all these dead fish being wiped up to shore and all this other stuff. But the thing
is, we need to read the two verses before that, because in chapter 16 it talks about the people that took the mark of the beast already. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm not sure, but it's very strange, we're just talking about it. But verses 1 and 2, it says, "And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men that had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image." Now this is before verse 3 about the blood of the dead man in the sea and killing everybody. So it's not, we're not at the mark of the beast yet, but but that verse is very similar to what's happening.
That we have to think about, and Miranda, you can look in there and read it. Is that a angel that was releasing a plague upon the earth? Is that how that occurred?
Yes.
Can you read the beginning of that? How that occurred? Can you find it? Is that in that chapter?
In chapter 16.
Is it in chapter 16 or is it in 15?
In verse 3 it says, "And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea." So it was an angel.
And what's the first angel that was released? Is that the fire?
That's not in chapter 16. I'm not. I don't know. I just looked up chapter 16 because of that verse. I'd have to review, and I don't really have time.
So here's what we're going to do, so that way there can be adequate time. And that's why I just wanted to briefly cover this. We're going to actually, and I know it's going to make Miranda have the heebie-jeebies, so she'll help me do the work on this, and I'll present it so it doesn't freak her out as much. But I'm going to do a study on Revelation and explain how current day events show that some of these angels have been released, and these events have happened, and they may have happened more than once. It's just because an angel's released to cause destruction upon the earth, do you honestly think he only is going to do it once? What if this happens over and over again until eventually it gets so bad that the end finally comes?
You think this is just the beginning of what Revelation 16
Well, you look at Exxon
about?
Valdez. It happened in Exxon Valdez.
That's
It's happened
true.
here. It's happened with the, we got the
In
Dead
California.
Sea. There's seas in Iraq that have been dried up. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers is drying up. There's places in the United States that are drying up. There's things that are happening that are found in Revelation, and it's not just one incident. It's like a multiple incidents, because like when the angel released, he causes destruction across the world. You think if he touches one place, it's going to reach the whole world? It's going to take time. The angel has to go here and go there and do different things. So that's just my personal take on what happens for the end of times and what is to come and what God is going to do.
But it does very much sound like what is happening today.
Yes.
I mean, verse
How much
3.
is that video loaded? Should be almost done.
I shut it down.
You need to get the video loaded so I can do that in my last segment. I got it loaded all the way right now, but I don't know if I can play it. For you guys in the chat, you go. I'm going to give you the link, and that's the reason why I got it uploaded. Our last segment, and you guys can check this out later. I know it didn't underline properly, but on our YouTube page, JMC Ministries Live, I interviewed yesterday for Memorial Day my professor, Richard Kowalski. If we can get the video loaded, it looks like it only takes about 5 to 6 minutes to load, at least on this computer. I don't know about that one. But I'm going to share one segment of it at the end of this video series for today. I did say we're going to talk about faith, and I did say we're going to talk about anger. And we are going to do that. We're going to look at John 8:31 real quick. To the Jews who believed him, Jesus said, "If you hold on to my teaching, you are really my disciple." We're going to take a break, and we'll talk more.